Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday evening, you guys. Got a lot of football to bring to you guys, mainly the team in red that I'm wearing right now. Buccaneers win 4 in a row. We're going to get into that and what went right against the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll also talk about what took place during the Jaguars game, during the Miami Dolphins game, and why those two teams were not able to come up with victories today. Guys, as we move on through the show, we will casually get in as well as the NHL to wrap things up. But thank you guys for having it locked here on Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Keep it locked here. We'll be back in a few moments. Sorry, guys, I was sitting there running my mouth with my mute button on, and I do apologize for that. But welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday, you guys. Super excited about today's events as far as the Buccaneers is concerned. Unfortunately for the Jaguars and the Dolphins, they were not able to follow suit with the said Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we will get into that and what went on in all of those games. That's going to be the bulk of our show, so I look forward to talking about that. Obviously, as you guys can see from the memorabilia, that I am a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. So this game was an excellent outing for us, and we're going to talk all the details about that. After that, we're going to jump into the NBA, talk about what's going on with the Heat and the Magic. Although those two teams are staying afloat, injuries on both sides of those teams have been detrimental. One team is coming back from injury. The other one is actually dealing with injury, which is the hard part for the Orlando Magic. So we'll talk about what's going on there. We will go ahead and go into college basketball in full swing right now, early in the season, but still have a good look on what a lot of these teams look like. Tennessee, Florida is looking like it's going to be a heavyweight matchup for the year, probably maybe the best one for the year. And as far as the Knowles and the Canes are concerned, the Knowles are hanging in there. They're still playing basketball. Miami seems to have checked out early this year, but they did pick up a win. We'll talk about that. And then we'll wrap things up with the NHL and talk about why the Bolts and the Panthers no longer run the East. So keep it locked here, guys. We're going to get into all that. But first things first, we have to shout out to our socials, guys. So if you are on social media, you guys, if you follow on any platform, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, any of those social media platforms, you can find us on at IE Sports Radio. That's going to be at IE Sports Radio, you guys. Of course, the website will be at www.iesportsradio.com. That's going to be the umbrella that all the shows fall under, including my very own Palm Tree Sports, guys. And then, of course, if you are looking for the places to find said specific podcast, whatever show, whatever state you're looking for, you're going to be able to find them on all podcast platforms. That would be Amazon, that would be Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, which is what I use, Google, etc. Whatever it is, wherever you get your podcast from, you can find us at IE Sports Radio. And then as for this specific show, guys, the show that we are listening to right now, this is Palm Tree Sports Radio. Palm Tree _IE is going to be the handle for your social media and for your multi-platform tabs. So when you get on, for me, Apple Music, right? Again, I'm going to search at Palm Tree. And that's where you're going to be able to find us. And then, of course, _IE for social handles. So that's everything as far as our socials are concerned, guys. We have to talk a little bit about our sponsors this evening. Of course, our sponsors haven't changed. It's going to be Planet Jerky. That's Planet Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole nother planet. And Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B, our very own Cecilia B, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get into a message from them real quick. And then when we get back, we're going to dive on into the show. Again, keep it locked here for a few more moments, guys, and we'll be back right with you to get you caught up on all things sports coming out of the Sunshine State.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And just like that, we are back, you guys. Thank you for keeping it locked here on Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host. And as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, what a happy Sunday for a Bucs fan. So for those of you who are watching, you guys can see I have the Buccaneers Tom Brady jersey from the Super Bowl. And then on the hat, other side, I have the first Super Bowl that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won back in 2002. I being able to witness both of those Super Bowls just brings a level of happiness that's unprecedented. I don't know about you guys, if you guys are fans of teams that have won Super Bowls, but I periodically go back and rewatch the America's games for the 02 Buccaneers and, of course, the 21 Buccaneers under Tom Brady. And then, of course, the DVDs of, if you bought those, we did, I should say. So always fun to see a Buccaneers victory on a Sunday. And that's what we're going to talk about. But first things first, let's go ahead and get into the chat, guys. You guys know I love to kind of get in there first before we dive into everything, see what everybody's talking about. So let's take it from the top, guys. My man, Ralph Corey, my man, love the Bucks gear. Go Bucks. Have a great show. Go Bucks, baby. Go Bucks. Got to, right? We're in greater Tampa Bay area. We're going to represent this red and pewter all day and night, good days, bad days, we're going to stress, we're going to be happy, but we're going to rep. And that's one thing we do very well down here. Larry B., the absolute legend, is in the building. It is always a pleasure to see you there, my man. Glad to have you here this evening. What an amazing game it was. I know you caught me earlier in the day, guys. For those of you who didn't know, I was a little stressed out earlier today. The second quarter has been like a detriment to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I kind of thought the game was going to be over, and then the second half happened, and then I felt kind of terrible as a fan simply because when you ask why did I think the game was over, it's PTSD, guys. When you look at this logo, you have to remember this logo's original association was just losing, right? So there's a lot of, and I've been watching for 26 years. So you have to understand, when you've been watching for this long, you just start to remember, you have World War II flashbacks. If you guys remember that meme, it's like that, you start having flashbacks and you're like, oh man, I remember times where the season would be over right now, but not with this team. This team's special. This team is different. We're going to talk about that. Pop in the house. Today is my father's birthday, you guys. Congratulations to my dad on making another year on this planet, and I pray literally for you to have many, many more. It is such a pleasure. You got me started on my path when it comes to sports, and without you, I wouldn't be here. So you guys, thank my dad. Give him a happy birthday in the comments. Let him know. Send him some love. He's the man behind the mask, if you will. And, even though it's not a mask, you guys get what I mean. So thanks, Dad, for everything that you do. I'm sad you weren't. He couldn't be on the show this evening, guys. We were going to get him on the show, but some things came up, but he's here with us, and that's all that matters. So let's see here. We got – okay, so Kaiser, let's see what happened there. Kaiser was down 10 points in the last few minutes in the semifinals and came back to win 42-38 to advance to the NAIA championship. They will play Grandview from Iowa next week. From Iowa, wow. So you're going to have South versus Mid-East hooking it up, huh? That's going to be a very interesting game right there. Let's go Seahawks, absolutely. Right out of West Palm Beach. And they need it because for those of you who remember those hurricanes that hit us, they actually hit West Palm Beach pretty hard. So it'll be good for them to have something special like that to talk about. So big ups to Kaiser that way. Way to go, guys. And hoping for the best. You guys can bring home that championship and that'll bring some happiness, especially to a city that could use it right now. And yeah, they weren't the only ones, but they were one of the ones. So just take that in consideration, you guys. All righty. Let's see what else we got. Oh, wow. So the high school championship. Okay, so the last time I thought I saw Clearwater was going all the way. And I didn't realize that the other team that they were playing was out of Hollywood, Florida. And Hollywood, Florida is one of those hot spots here in Florida where there's a lot of development across a bunch of different sports. But it happens periodically, right? Like every couple of years they make some noise and then they kind of go down into a slumber a little bit. They come back and they're making noise again. So just take that into consideration with that. But congratulations on them. Charminade. There we go. Charminade. Incredible victory for them. Like I said, I saw Clearwater made it. And that was the last bit that I saw. But dang, 42-7 is an absolute squashing victory. So congratulations for them on their state championship last Wednesday. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, guys, we are Gators down here. Not just repping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I also always keep this here with me. I could just hold on to this right here because it's always great to be a Florida Gator. So I'll just do the show like this if you guys don't mind. It's such a weird color mesh, right? Like you got the red and the pewter, and then there's like this orange and blue, and it's like, so what? Spider-Man, like really ridiculous looking kind of Spider-Man colors, but you guys get what's going on here. Red and blue. There's a lot of that going on. All right. American Heritage out of Plantation, Florida defeated Hones 40-31 to win their high school championship on Thursday. Congratulations there to American Heritage out of Plantation, Florida. And Plantation, Florida is one of the smaller I mean, it's a big area, but it's small in comparison to some of the other cities in Florida. So, guys, I've only been there once, I believe. But, yeah, congratulations to them. Massive victory there. Did not expect that to be the case, but congratulations to them. And that was a very hard-fought victory there, 9-point win. It's not very often that you see that. So, and then, of course, the Lynn University out of Boca Raton, Florida, won both NCAA Division II women's volleyball and the NCAA Division II men's soccer national championship yesterday on the same day. So that city's going to be busting. They're not getting any sleep this evening. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are calling out of work on Monday, but you love to see it. Congratulations to both of those teams. Boca Raton is starting to become a developed area in Florida. So as you guys may have heard over the last 10 years, there's been a lot of talent coming out of Boca Raton, Florida, from all across different various sports, football, basketball, soccer, volleyball there. As you saw, even mixed martial arts has been able to put a couple of fighters out there in bare knuckle fighting, and as far as the UFC and Bellator is concerned. So, Boca Raton really being developed right now. And it's east of where I'm at. So I'm in Tampa, obviously, which is close on the west side of Florida. That's further east over there. So congratulations to them on the double victory there. And like I said, that city won't be getting any sleep. So, but in any case, guys, that's it for the comments for the time being. We will jump back here again in a moment. But what we are going to go ahead and talk about now is our beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, as you guys, like I said, can see from the gear, clearly we won today. Today was a massive win. Sorry, T-Rod, Big Dog. Hey, man, all love. For the record, guys, the LA Chargers is a team that I'm very fond of. I've always had a lot of love for that franchise, except for when they play against my beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When any team plays against the Bucs, all bets are off. And so today, all bets were off. Even though it was looking like pretty early that the Chargers were the better team. So to start the game, guys, before I even give you a synopsis of the game, first things first, they won the game 40-17, okay? I want to start with the score because that score was not what I thought or was going to predict. I think the most points that I saw being scored was going to be about 33. I did think it would be a little bit more of a shootout, so I thought the ball game would probably go like 33-29 or 28. I thought that either team had the opportunity to win this game, and I thought it was going to come down to a turnover, and I thought that the turnover would probably be a late turnover by Justin, and the real reason why I thought that was just because he was playing hurt. Both of these teams are extremely destroyed in the secondary. Neither one of these teams are really in an area to score on defense, I guess would be the proper way to look at it. Excuse me, my apologies there. The reason why I say that, though, is because coming into the game, Tampa Bay, we have been without our two starting safeties, and we are also without a true healthy rotation at nickel corner. Zion McCullum has been absolutely god tier as far as cornerback is concerned, but Jamel Dean has been nowhere to be found pretty much all year long. He actually showed up today, had a bunch of tackles and an interception. So what a time for him to show up. Kayvon Merriweather stepping into the safety position with Christian Eisen was at times shaky, but they were able to figure it out. The pressure getting to Justin Herbert was really the answer to the defensive woes as far as the secondary is concerned. So if you guys see those highlights, just understand that score of the game does not reflect how close the game was. Understand that Justin Herbert was hurt, and of course the Buccaneers secondary is completely hurt too. But the Buccaneers defensive line is absolutely massive and hard to block one-on-one. Vita Vea is absolutely one of the greatest nose tackles to ever do it 7 years in. This guy is just absolutely destructive at the line, and you have to put 4 hands on him. And if you don't, you can just kiss that play goodbye. He blew up about 5 or 6 different plays on his own today, 5 of which I'm pleased to report were incomplete passes and some of them were on third down. So Villaveda making his presence felt. Levante David, the ageless wonder, absolutely phenomenal game. It says 1.5, but it was really 2 sacks. Phenomenal game by him. I think he also led the team in tackles today. So massive game for him. Way to step up Levante and show that leadership, that spirit that he has. He's been with Tampa Bay his entire career out of Nebraska. He's a Cornhusker. So the guy knows how to play serious football, and we're just glad to have him. When you look at the rest of the team, though, guys, both of these teams now at 8-6. The Chargers are still in position to make the playoffs. The Buccaneers are looking better than ever at a position to make the playoffs. We're going to see the Cowboys next week. We'll get into that in a second. But this is a very interesting place where the Bucs control their own destiny. If they win out, they win the division. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And so we just got to hope that continues. We hope that Atlanta continues its fraudulent performance this year. And of course, the Saints look like zombies. If you guys have watched Star Wars or read Star Wars, there's a book called Death Troopers, and that's kind of who the Saints remind me as. Albeit they may be powerful and destructive, they're in the unknown regions, and we're not sure what that team's going to be moving forward, especially after how shaky the quarterback's play has been all year and the fact that there are stars, but not in abundance over there in New Orleans. So for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game, Baker Mayfield goes 22 of 27, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. On a day like today, Baker Mayfield was the best quarterback, and he played like the best quarterback, making plays with his feet when he needed to, barring a couple of unnecessary penalties that the referees unjustly decided to call throughout the game. Baker Mayfield was an absolute stud today. Really only 2 errant passes that I really looked at and was like, Baker, chill. And but outside of that, he played absolutely phenomenal. Super proud of him and what he's been able to do, how he's been able to get this offense to rally around him. And again, putting up 40 points, I think for the 3rd time this season, absolutely massive. Scoring on our first drive, just walking down the field, just absolutely eviscerating that Chargers defense was always welcome to see. We're going to have to straighten up in the second half or second quarter, guys. If you guys have been watching any Tampa Bay Buccaneers football games, the second quarter is absolutely terrifying. That's when the majority of our turnovers, our penalties, and our mistakes happen. I'm pleased to report, though, that in the second half, the Buccaneers did shut out the Chargers on a 27-0 unanswered march up and down the field out there in LA at SoFi Stadium. I am beyond proud of this team. This team showed another level of resiliency that we didn't know that we had against a very dangerous, a very game Chargers team. If this team wasn't hurt, that game would have been closer. But realistically, both of these teams are hurt, and it looks like the Buccaneers just had more will, they had more resolve, and they had just more plan to move past the mistakes and execute, right? The mistakes were as followed. There was an interception by Baker Mayfield on the following drive, on the following play offensively. There was a fumble by Rachaad White. Those would be the only 2 detrimental issues to the Buccaneers. I don't think the Buccaneers actually punted once today, putting up 40 points in the form of 4 touchdowns and 4 field goals, scoring on all 8 possessions that weren't turnovers. Absolutely the most efficient we've seen this team at on offense this year, I would say. I am beyond proud of Bucky Irving, who absolutely went off, guys. Bucky goes 15 carries, 117 yards. He didn't get in the end zone, but it was just because he could not run the defense. He had a couple of plays he could have scored on, but didn't. Not upset about that. Bucky Irving, tremendous pickup out of Oregon in the 4th round. This guy's still a rookie, and he's playing like a 3rd, 4th year running back. So absolutely love Bucky down here. Super proud to see him and what he's accomplished. But the guy, in my opinion, who was the standout player of today was none other than the Buccaneers legend and 1st round draft pick back in 2012. Was it 2012? How many years is this? No, it was like 2014. It's like 2013, 2014. Somewhere around there is Mike Evans, guys. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. Mike Evans absolutely just goes off today, guys. He goes 9 catches, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. They were wondering if he was going to get to 1,000. The answer at this point, I think, is going to be a safe yes. I think he can do it. The Bucs want to get him to 1,000. So be on the lookout for that next week against the really confused Cowboys team right now that we're getting ready to go play. I absolutely think this is going to be another game that Mike Evans is going to get the chance to go off, and I really hope that he does. I hate the Cowboys. Sorry, Uncle Joe. I love you. Don't like the Cowboys, okay? It's just how it goes. I hope we put 50 up. It's just my hope. As long as we win, that's all that matters. And as long as Baker and Mike go off, obviously we want to get Mike those 1,000 yards receiving. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Like I said, defense really figured it out there in the second half, shutting him out. Defensive line was the cause of the pressure. I put on Twitter, I said, it's very simple, guys. We have to run the ball on 1st down. This was at halftime, by the way. We need to run the ball on 1st down. We need to obviously create turnovers and most importantly, get Mike Evans one-on-one. And if we can do those things, we're going to find success. Good things happens when Bucky and Mike touch the ball. And that's what happened. And the Buccaneers go over, again, 200 yards rushing, over 288 yards passing. Incredible. Absolutely incredible game put together by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their next game again against the Cowboys, the 6-8 Cowboys. That's going to be Sunday, December 22nd at 8:20 p.m. So that's going to be a later start time. The Bucs do struggle at nighttime, but I don't think that they're going to struggle this time. I think the Buccaneers are going to come in. They're going to feel what they were feeling towards the beginning of the season right before that Broncos game. And instead of laying a duck against the Broncos or against the Cowboys as they did against the Broncos, I think this team is really going to apply what they know. I think they're going to continue to run the ball effectively, which is going to open play action pass and also get Baker outside the pocket on plays that he can run and grab, 5-10 yards here and there, which will also help make that defense a little bit more loose. And once that happens, then Baker can do what he wants. He's going to pick the defense apart just as he did today and as he's done countless times this year. And I look forward to Tampa Bay Buccaneers bringing home the 5th win in a row against the Cowboys next week before we wrap the season up and the following. Unfortunately, for the other teams in Florida, they were not as successful. I'm going to go ahead and go Ash Ketchum right here and turn this bad boy to the back. The Jaguars, they can't buy a win. They can get lucky with one, but they can't buy one. They can't earn one, unfortunately. They lose this game against the Jets 32-25. Obviously, the Jets are a struggling franchise as well. There's not a whole lot that I can really say for it to make sense. Aaron Rodgers is at quarter for the Jets, and you would think that with him at quarter, they'd be performing better. That's not the case. And unfortunately, it's also not the case for the Jaguars. However, the Jaguars do not have their starting quarterback. As for the quarterback that is starting for them, Mac Jones, he goes 31-46. Not a good ratio because you shouldn't be throwing the ball that many times. 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Listen, when you're throwing the ball that much, you're going to throw interceptions. And you're probably not going to win the game. That's what happens when you go and you wonder why they're not winning the game. You go look at the rushing attack for the Jaguars, and that's what really stands out to me. Trevor Etienne goes 14 carries, 65 yards, no touchdowns. The Buccaneers are showing what happens when you can establish the run with a 4-game win streak. The Jaguars are showing what happens when you don't have a run game, which is what we're experiencing right now. It's a bit terrifying to see it, but unfortunately, that's just where we are. The Jaguars are they're trying to get the number 1 pick in the draft. That's what they're trying to do at this point, guys. There's no other way to dress it up. There's no other way to make it look good, or make. Unfortunately, that's just what it looks like. I don't know. Brian Thomas, the one bright spot for this team, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to go 10 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. So there's something to build on right there. I think at the end of the day, Jaguars still need a new quarterback. I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is the answer. I think that once he got to the NFL, he got a little rattled, and he hasn't really been able to get his feet underneath him. His time at Clemson was just that. It was a time. And now that time is up, we're starting to see that he may not have what it takes to cut it loose. I am a Sunshine fan. I enjoyed him in college in Clemson, but he also got destroyed in that national championship game against LSU. And I think he may be wearing that in his NFL career. And he just hasn't really blossomed into the guy that he could be or the guy that he was in Clemson. That's the unfortunate part about what's going on there in Jacksonville. The good part, Larry, I apologize for saying the good part that was a little wild, is that they will get to play the Raiders next week. The Raiders are 2-11. Okay, so this team is struggling just as much as the Jaguars is. It's just going to come down to which team wants it more. I think the Raiders have the better team on paper, especially after seeing them play against the Chiefs, seeing them play against Tampa Bay. This team can battle. Unfortunately, they are riddled with injury and, of course, are just in a really dark spot over a bunch of years of turmoil, from John Gruden leaving to the way that faction just completely blew up. This team is on the rebuild and they're in the right direction. And because of that, I think the Jaguars need to watch out. I'm actually going to pick the Raiders to win that game against the Jaguars. It's not that I don't have faith. Unfortunately, on paper, the better team is the Raiders, or are the Raiders. Mac Jones just hasn't shown anything. He's not showing us anything at all. And unfortunately, I don't think that what they have is going to be enough to defeat the Raiders. That game is going to be Sunday, December 22nd, 4:25 p.m. Why is it a late game? I don't know, but they made it a late game. So get ready for that, guys. The Buccaneers game is the 8:20 game. So if you guys want to watch, if you guys actually want to watch all 3 of these teams play, you will get the opportunity to do so. But the Fins and the Jags will be playing at the same time. So just take that in consideration if you guys are looking forward to seeing those 2 games. Let's go ahead and get into the Fins, guys. Fins lose one just like the Jaguars did, kind of in a very sad fashion, if you will. They lose 20-12 against the division-leading AFC South defending champs, Houston Texans, this team sitting at 9-5 right now, is in control of their own destiny. I think they actually clinched today. Indianapolis did lose, so congratulations on the Texans for clinching their division for a second year in a row. And then, of course, for the Finns, it's just unfortunate. They are now 6-8. This team, unfortunately, was starting to right the ship, and they were going to need to win out to do so. Unfortunately, this loss pretty much KOs them out of the playoffs. We'll know for sure next week, I think it is. But unfortunately, Tua Tagovailoa just did not look like himself today. He was absolutely terrible at quarterback. He goes 29 of 40, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Guys, I'm going to point this out one more time. If you're having to throw the ball 40-plus times a game, you're probably losing that game unless your name is Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, or Tom Brady. In recent memory. That's just recent memory, right? Like, I don't want to go too far back, Ben Roethlisberger, all those guys. But realistically speaking, if you're throwing the ball 40 times, you know what that means? It means you're not running the ball. And if you're not running the ball, what are you doing? You're losing, all right? The great teams in the past, they all have a run game. They all have a defense. You go look at every Super Bowl champion, about 90% of them, that's pretty much what the game plan is. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. Okay. It hasn't changed. The recipe hasn't changed. It'll never change, no matter how West Coast or how much you pass the ball around. You're going to need a run game to win games in championships. And that's essentially what Miami does not have. I think HN had like 60, 62, 64 yards rushing. It's not going to be enough, guys. When you look at what was going on in Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, I believe, had over amassed 200 yards rushing. They win their ball game. You have the Jags and the Finns, who collectively couldn't get to 200 yards rushing. They lost both of their games, and the records are reflecting where those franchises are at. Tua Tagovailoa uncharacteristically with 3 interceptions. Not a good day for him. I'm glad that he didn't do too much on those interceptions, because when he threw them, I didn't look at the return. I looked at him. I wanted to see what he was going to do. I'm glad that he didn't really get messed up today. He didn't really get hit unnecessarily. So that's good at least, but unfortunately, this performance is not going to be good enough for them to stay in the playoff hunt. It looks like they're going to miss the playoffs this year, unfortunately, with Buffalo in firm control of that division, having already clinched it, and also with a big win against the Detroit Lions, who I thought was the best team in the NFL. So move over Detroit. Buffalo will now be assuming this position for the remainder of the year, is what it looks like to me. But not to be let down, that Lions team is still as dangerous as ever, and I would not sleep on them in the NFC. That is my pick for NFC, conference champion, and hopefully representing the NFC in the Super Bowl if it's not going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before this game, the last team to beat the Detroit Lions was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so take that in consideration. Back to the chat we go. All right, so let's see. Yep. Oh, yeah, we're going to get Dad back on the show. We are definitely going to get Dad back on the show as soon as he's good to go. We're going to make it happen. Yes, T-Rod, all love, my man. You know how it is whenever our teams have to hook it up. Both sides of the fence, all love from us over here. All love from us over here, but we had to get that dub. You mentioned that on Twitter. We needed the win. We did, and we got it. So Eisen is a versatile piece. He's like baby Winfield. He just doesn't have quite the ball instincts that Winfield has. And what I mean by that is just running to the ball. He's very good at doing his job, but when it comes to attacking the ball, getting to the ball, he's a bit Robin, and I want to see him more as Batman, right? If that makes sense. I want to see him be more effective in a leadership role. So Nightwing that mess, Christian. Nightwing it. For all my comic book lovers out there, you guys should understand what I mean when I say that. We are only going to get better. It's 100% correct, guys. For the record, this Buccaneers team has not been 100% healthy all year. To start the season, we were missing Kalijah Cansey, and we were missing we were missing somebody else. The point is, since the beginning of the season, we have not been healthy. So to see this team performing as well as it's performing is something that people need to take note of. And hopefully Liam Cohen doesn't accept the head coaching job anywhere, because we need to keep him at least for another 2 years, at least, to get that playbook, that mindset down, to be able to understand it so that we can run it ourselves if he decides to leave, because his offense is absolutely humming. It's phenomenal. I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's see. Mike Evans was a beast today. Listen, I'm tired of holding my tongue on this. Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver all time, guys. He's top 10 receiver all time. Argue with the wall. Go look at the stats. Go look at the gameplay from his rookie season on till now. There's never been a wide receiver, and The Rock means never been a wide receiver who has been able to adjust from bad quarterback to mediocre quarterback to phenomenal quarterback, bad to bad quarterback, back to mediocre, back to phenomenal, back to pretty good. Okay. You've never seen this from a wide receiver. When you talk about plug and play, Mike Evans is the greatest versatile piece as far as plug and play for any quarterback type, for any quarterback arm. I don't care. He made Josh McCown look good. It was Josh, right? That was the McCown brother we had, I think. He made Jameis Winston a starter for 5 years. Okay, understand that. Okay, him and Chris Godwin, of course, but now that Chris Godwin is injured, we're actually seeing that Mike still has what it takes to carry a team from a wide receiver standpoint, and he's been absolutely phenomenal, guys. Give him his flowers, because we're not going to get to see this again for a long time, okay? When you're talking about plug and play, that's the go. Top 10 receiver all time, guys. Over 500 yards total offense against a very, very good Chargers defense. I think Chargers defense was actually top 10. So this is huge. Over 150 yards rushing. Massive. Bucky Irving is he's magical. He's absolutely magical. So congratulations there. St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, defeated Lakeland 34-0 to win the 5A FHSAA high school football title. That is a mismatch. Unfortunately, all the good players at Lakeland are just that. They're actually playing for the main Lakeland high school. So there's like 3 major schools out there. I can't remember what the other 2 are called, but that's an absolute smashing victory. 34-0. That's not a championship game. That's just a regular preseason game where all the starters for St. Thomas was playing, but all the 3rd and 4th stringers for Lakeland were playing, and we were, varsity versus JV, right? So Packers up 17-3 over Seahawks. Packers, go Pack, go. We're impartial to the Packers over here. We actually like the Packers. So long history with the Buccaneers, and healthy one at that. So Fins along with the Colts and the Bengals behind Chargers for final wild card spot with 3 to play. What do you think, guys? Let me know who you guys think are going to get in there. From what I saw today, Chargers the best team out of those 3. And yeah, the Chargers didn't play super well today, but understand they are hurt. They're just as hurt as Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay came in with a different way of operating the football, went on offense, and it was just more efficient. And we ran the ball. That's really what it came down to. We ran the ball. We set up play action, let Baker run. Justin Herbert couldn't move too much. He was also injured. Left everything for him was hurt. Left leg, left thigh. He was having all kind of issues with his ankle, and of course with some bruising on his thigh. So I think the Chargers are the best team right there. He just needs to average 84 yards over the next 3 games to tie Jerry Rice's record for consecutive yards in the season. He could do it. I think he gets another big one against the Cowboys, and then he can kind of come off a little bit there at the end. I think that's what it comes down to, guys. So super excited, guys. Super excited about what took place for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Unfortunately for the Jags and the Fins, unable to keep up. But it is what it is. They need to run the ball. They need to find a way to get the ball to their stars. And when they do that, they'll find success. But until then, they're going to continue to mimic this trend of failing to score points because they can't, again, run the ball to set up the pass, guys. What it comes down to, football is a simple sport. And those 2 teams are not playing football right now. So, but we will move on, guys. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the evening. This is a little bit later than we normally do it, but the rest of the show is going to slide on by, guys. The rest of this information is a little bit more straightforward for you guys. So I will get that to you in a matter of moments, but keep it locked here while we get into our first break of the evening. But until then, my name is Corey Pujols, your host. And as always, this show, Palm Tree Sports, is brought to you by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Keep it locked here for 2 minutes, and we will be right back with you. And we will cover the rest of NBA, college basketball, and then the NHL, and I'll send you on your way. Keep it locked here, guys. We'll be back in a few moments.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Lentarius Locke.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio, guys. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, this is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Shout out there to Fast Break Sports. I was actually listening to them. Every week I listen to them as I'm doing my notes for the show before I do my show. I throw it on TV and then jump on my phone and have another one here on my laptop and then just go from there. A lot of great shows here at Palm Tree or at IE Sports Radio featuring Palm Tree Sports, of course, guys. So go check them out. All the basketball information you could need coming right your way. I never have to do too much homework because they do a lot of it for me. So shout out to Fast Break and all the work that they do for us here at IE Sports Radio. But as far as the NBA is concerned, we will talk about a little bit about the Heat real quick and what's going on there. So here's the deal. With the Heat and the Magic, both of these teams they were dealing with their respective injury issues. Earlier in the season, it was Jimmy Butler for the Heat. And the Magic were fully locked in with all of their pieces in place. Paulo Banchero, Wagner, KCP, just a great team all the way around with a lot of pieces. And unfortunately, they lost their two best pieces. And so that's what we're going to get into real quick. So for the Heat rocking a 13-10 record. They're staying above water currently, and they need to continue to do that. They did that or continue to do so with the win against the Raptors. That is the 7-19 Raptors. The team is struggling. It's just that they just haven't been the same since they lost Kawhi Leonard, guys. That team struggling, but a 10-point victory there for the Heat. 114-104 was the score of that ball game. Jimmy Butler, not really the guy. It was Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero for combined for almost 50 points there, helping propel the Heat to that victory there. Tyler Hero's got to be more consistent with the ball. Obviously, he's been making it ring from three-point lane. He's just got to continue to do that, continue to be accurate, especially when penetrating the paint. Bam Adebayo, well, he was on the Team USA, so you should know how good he is by now. But both of those guys are really helping push the team. Jimmy Butler has that Heat team looking better than they have really since the beginning of the year. They're winners of their last 4 in a row. And, of course, having him back in the lineup definitely doesn't hurt. In fact, I think it helps a lot. It helps from the mid-range game, the ability to penetrate, the ability in transition to play offense and both defense, and then obviously his overall leadership. There's been a lot of talk about him possibly being traded to the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns adding a guy like Jimmy Butler would be massive, but unfortunately, the Heat, I just don't think are in position to lose that kind of guy. If they were, they'd have to be getting like a KD or Devin Booker in return for that. And I just don't see how that really works out for either of those teams. Of course, it absolutely could. But the question is giving up the continuity really worth it? And if it is, what is the other move that's going to be accompanied by this? Because I don't think just a swap would be the nature of either one of these teams. There must be a third team that would be involved in this. Depending on what that third team would be would determine what happens moving forward. I don't think that Jimmy Butler leaves Miami. I don't see why he would. But if he did decide to, Phoenix is a great place for him to go to. I just wouldn't want to see him over there in Phoenix because I'm very impartial to Jimmy. I love Jimmy Buckets, and I really hope he spends the rest of his NBA career or the majority of the rest of his NBA career here with the Miami Heat. But he needs help. There's no way around it. He does need a little bit more help. The teams in the East right now are better than they've been in recent memory, with the Celtics dominating as well if they has been. And, of course, the Orlando Magic, who have emerged out of nowhere over the last year and a half now. So there's a lot going on in the East. We're going to have to see what the Heat decide to do. They won't have a lot of time to figure it out, though, because they're going to have to play the Pistons tomorrow at 7 p.m. So if you guys are looking for Heat basketball, Monday night, 7 p.m. ball game, I'll watch the first hour of it before I swap it over to Monday Night Raw, because obviously I'm going to be watching that. I'm going to do my best to watch that. I fell asleep on it last week, so we'll see what happens, guys. But yeah, that game is going to be against, again, the Pistons tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pistons are rocking a 10-16 record. This team is nowhere near 500. 6 games back, in fact, of 500. So there should be a 5th win in a row for Miami if all things go accounted for. And hopefully that it does, and they're able to go +5 or 500. That's going to be pretty much the goal for Miami. That's all Miami needs to worry about, one game at a time. And hopefully those boys can bring home a victory, guys. I think that for Miami to do this, they're just going to have to continue to do what they've been doing, get the ball to Bam, get the ball, spread the ball around, find the open shot, play smart team basketball. And, of course, transition has just been so much more fluid since Jimmy Butler has arrived. His ability to distribute the basketball, to create plays, to create space, and obviously his mid-range game being one of the best in the NBA really helps out a lot. Didn't score a lot of points against the Raptors, but hopefully that's going to change against the Pistons tomorrow night, guys. But that's what it is for the Heat. For the Magic, this team has been facing a completely different issue. They started the season hot with their entire roster on fire. Unfortunately, both Wagner and Blanchero have suffered injuries that have them out both essentially indefinitely. That's a problem. Blanchero probably going to be coming back sooner. Wagner, we're not sure. He may be done for the season, guys. We're not 100% sure. I have to go back and look at the info on that as far as how surgery is going to go and what's going to happen. But unfortunately, with either one of those two guys out, this team does not have an ace facilitator, does not have somebody either to get the ball to or to facilitate the basketball through properly. And we see that we actually see that in that game that they were losing to the Knicks. It was a 10-point game last time I saw it, so I'm pretty sure they lost that game. But the score was 100-90 with 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And we weren't going to win that game, guys. Now down by 10. The Magic record sitting at 17 and I think 11 now, with the Knicks improving to 16 and 10, is obviously kind of detrimental for the Magic right now, especially with the Knicks knocking on that door, being a game and a half, 2 games out. So a win showed that they're ready. Excuse me, my apologies again, guys. A win showed that the Knicks are ready to move past the Orlando Magic there in the East. It's unfortunate, but again, these injuries, and that's been a burden to all of the teams here in Florida, guys. If you look at from pro football, pro basketball, college football, college basketball, except for the Gators and college basketball, in fact. But the Heat and the Magic, respectively, all dealing with injury issues. So just take that in consideration right now. It's a very rough time for these teams, especially when they're not at full power. It's hard to win, guys. It's hard to win when you're not at full power, right? That's why we have starters, and that's why we have second and third stringers. But you want your starters for a reason, guys. You want your starters for a reason. Let's see. T-Rod, my man. Yes, sir. Hey, listen, you are all good, bro. I was actually just talking about how good Fast Break is, and I was actually listening to them before I got onto my show. That's what I do. I try to throw you guys a show on while I'm doing my notes whenever I can. If I'm on the road, I usually try to have one on as well. Whenever we can, just support each other. But yeah, absolutely no worries. We talked about the game, the Bucks Chargers game, and basically, long story short, I mentioned a lot of love for you and a lot of love for the Chargers. Unfortunately, both of these teams dinged up. The Buccaneers were able to make more. Just make it shake a little bit better than the Chargers. Of course, with Justin Herbert being injured, that really put a hamper on things too. But a lot of love for that franchise, and I really hope you guys get that last playoff spot. I would love to see you guys go in there and rip the Chiefs out of the playoffs at some point in time. That's just my hope. Honestly, I'm sick and tired of the Taylor Swift and all that BS. But anyway, bro, just want to address that real quick. It's all good though, my man. So now here on the basketball part, pretty much covered everything though. Like I said, guys, with that loss to the Knicks, obviously, like I said, the Knicks are just inching so much closer to that 4 spot in the East. I think it's 4 spot if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 spot. And unless the Magic are unable to get healthy, things are going to be rough the rest of the way. It is what it is, guys. Next game for the Magic is going to be against the Thunder. Not going to be an easy game. I don't see how they win that game. Thunder currently running the NBA right now, best team in the West. They're rocking a 20-5 record. This team looked just as good as they did last year, maybe even better than they did last year. They're a scary team, guys, and it's all on teamwork. Billy Donovan has that team chef kiss cooking. Like, they look great. in OKC. So, Thunder, you guys look great. You're doing it with an old Gator ball coach. No surprise there. Magic, good luck, guys. You're going to need that going into that game against the Thunder, but unfortunately, obviously, I assume Thunder will win that game. So, but good luck to those guys. 7-3 in their last 10 with the injuries killing them. The season's not dead, but they need a star back. Can't just be KCP. They need somebody else. Okay, so good luck, Magic. Get healthy. Hope to see you guys soon. There's really no other way to look at it, guys. Unfortunately, like I said, you're missing your 1 and your 2. Moving on over to a team that's not missing anybody, knocking on the proverbial wood here that they don't. Our beloved Florida Gators playing college men's basketball, playing very, very well. Right now, they sit atop the SEC and number 1, ranked 1 in the SEC with a ranked 9 nationally. This team is 10-0 right now after a dominant performance over Arizona State, winning that game 83-66. That is a very game Arizona State team playing relatively good football coming out of the Big 12, I think it is, if I remember correctly. They're playing pretty good basketball. I said football. My apologies. Pretty good basketball. But big quality win there by the Gators, showing that they're ready, that they are here and they're balling. They look great on offense and defense. This Florida team hasn't looked this good from behind the arc since Billy Donovan was here. And realistically speaking, it's going to be a long time before we're probably this good again. We don't have the best player at any one position, but we have is a extremely exceptional talent all over the place, a deep depth chart, and the ability to spread the ball around with a bunch of bigs that know how to finish at the hoop and a bunch of smalls that are really good in transition and penetrating. When you're able to accompany that with a relatively amazing three-point shooting game that I've seen this season, raindrops, baby. Rain drops, and I mean down to the bottom of the bucket. This team looks phenomenal. The clash between the Gators and Tennessee is going to be absolutely massive. Whichever team comes out of that is most likely going to be the team that's representing the SEC for the SEC championship when they go East versus West. Or East versus West is not a thing anymore, but they most likely be representing the SEC. And here's hoping that it's going to be our Florida Gators. We're going to have to go and beat the Vols shortly. But for now, we can focus on UNC because that's the team that we're going to be playing against next. University of North Carolina Tar Heels, the same team that one Michael Jordan played for, in fact. For those of you who didn't know, Michael Jordan played for North Carolina. He actually blew up his, I think it was his sophomore and junior year. It was a 15-footer against Georgetown in 1932, I think it was, to help get them a state championship, or not state championship, but an NCAA championship. Monumental victory there for Michael Jordan, and that spring shot at him. He would go on to win Player of the Year in his senior year, and then obviously be drafted number 1, or not number 1, but in the first round by the Chicago Bulls, and the rest is history. I got a lot of random knowledge, guys. But anyway, Michael Jordan's alma mater is who the Florida Gators were going to go see next, and we're going to have to destroy him with a Jordan logo on our jerseys, because the Michael Jordan actually does, or the Florida Gators are represented by Michael Jordan as a Michael Jordan brand. So, sorry, Michael, we're going to have to go in there and handle business. It is what it is. All love. We'll take the dub, though. Good job, Gators, on the victory against Arizona State. Let's pick up another one Tuesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. See you guys there. FSU, the Noles. This team's not playing bad basketball. They're in the mix. They are in the mix, guys. They're rocking an 8-3 record. They beat Tulane, rocking the 5-7 record. 77-64. Good for them to get back on the winning side of things. They're going to have to continue that. In the ACC, excuse me again. Yes, sir, I have gas. I'm burping a lot, and I'm trying not to. I apologize. Please forgive me. But for the ACC right now, there's such a strenuous look to the ACC right now in college basketball. Obviously, Clemson's playing pretty good basketball. And, there are a couple other teams that are going to be making some noise. Not Miami, but Florida State, definitely. Like I said, rocking 8-3. They're still in the thick of it. Obviously, they're going to need a little bit of help. But once March Madness gets here, they should make it into the polls. And as long as they do that, they're going to have a shot. Good luck to them moving forward right now. Like I said, with the win over Tulane, the next game is going to be a harder game against Winthrop. That team is rocking a 9-3 record, so one game better than FSU, but that game is going to be Tuesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. as well. So Florida State playing at the same time for college men's basketball. If you guys want to check those two games out, I recommend flipping back and forth between them. That's what I try to do whenever they're playing at the same time. I will be on the Gator game. Like I said, they're making it splash from downtown, and there's nothing more fun than a team that's really good in transition and can make it splash from downtown. If you missed the Golden State Warriors in the late 2010s, then I don't know what to tell you. But this team kind of reminds me a little bit of Golden State, just without Steph Curry. FSU, though, on the other hand, right now, like I said, still trying to stay alive in the ACC as we inch closer to March Madness. The team's just going to have to continue to stack wins. They're going to have a great opportunity to do that against Winthrop. Good luck to FSU, and hopefully they're able to bring home a W and improve to 9-3 on the season there in the ACC. The Canes, the one team that's not playing basketball. Okay. They played basketball yesterday. I think it was yesterday they played. It was yesterday or Friday or something like that. But they beat how do you say that name? Presbyterian. There we go. Presbyterian. 94-75. Now, Presbyterian rocking the 6-6 record is a 500 team that's just got their nose above the water, if you will, guys. Miami not doing that much better, rocking a 4-7 record. I mean, honestly, they're completely below water. It's good for them to pick up a team victory. They're going to have to build on this. They're going to have a chance at another victory next week against Mount St. Mary's, guys. Mount St. Mary's rocking a 6-4 record. So this is a team that's not, just, again, barely keeping their head above water, above 500. This is going to be an opportunity for them to build on the momentum. College sports is more momentum based than pro sports is. That's the real difference between pro and collegiate. Honestly, if somebody came to me and said, what's the difference? I would say details and momentum. It's essentially what the difference is between the pros and the collegiates, or basically just not pros, whatever other league you want to talk about. Like I said, Canes, they're just not playing basketball right now. I don't know what the Canes need to do, but it's not what they've been doing, especially over last year, because last year we thought they were going to be the best college basketball team, and they end up being the worst, and it still looks to be the case right now. So Miami needs some help. Somebody should phone ahead and get it for them, but they need some help. Again, next game, Mount St. Mary's, September. Jeez. Saturday, December 21st, 2 p.m., guys. Yeah, we're past September. Earth, Wind, and Fire, that was never in September. Anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. Rest in peace, Miami, though. Their season's pretty much cooked. So, last thing to talk about this evening before I send you guys on your way, NHL, right? So hockey, Bolts hockey specifically, followed by Panthers hockey. Before we get into that, let's actually check the chat. Let's check the chat. I don't like ignoring the chat. Gators should be ranked 7 tomorrow when that comes out. Yeah, hell yeah. Our boys in blue and orange taking care of business there in college basketball. Again, they haven't looked this good since Billy Donovan. And if you guys remember that the Florida's men's basketball team under Billy Donovan was able to win 2 national championships. So hopefully we're returning to form. Hopefully we're returning to, what we believe we are known for here at the University of Florida, and that's winning. All right. And it doesn't matter what the sport is. We are one of the few colleges to win, I think it was 5 national championships in 5 different sports in the same year. If I remember correctly, I know we did 3, but I believe it was football, basketball, track and field. It was football, basketball, track and field. There was it swimming and gymnastics? I think it was, if I remember correctly. So correct me if I'm wrong, but within the same year period, we were able to do that. And it's a fiscal year, right? It's not January 1st to December 31st type thing. But next game, Kentucky. Oh, yeah, Kentucky versus Tennessee is going to be a good game, guys. If you guys watch college men's basketball, you've been keeping up. Obviously, Kentucky is a basketball college, and Tennessee has been absolutely outstanding this year. One of the few teams that has a real legit chance at defeating the Gators this year, and then vice versa, the Gators having a tremendous chance of any team, if any team, probably the best team to beat Tennessee this year. Looking forward to that game as well. And then University of Florida plays Kentucky on 1/4/25. That's going to be 3 days after that that Kentucky-Tennessee game. So, yeah, incredible lineup for Florida basketball as far as what could happen moving forward. All 3 of those teams are going to make the big dance, and the question is, are they going to smash into each other or will they not? Hopefully, if they do, the Gators are able to win. But, that's a big hopefully, so we'll see what happens there. Canes have the worst record in the ACC. They're not playing basketball. They're doing something else. Maybe selling Girl Scout cookies or trying to find a new logo, since that green and orange is just kind of not iconic anymore. I mean, I don't know. It's iconic with the black jerseys. I'll tell you that much. Those black jerseys go stupid, but yeah, Miami's not playing basketball. They're doing other stuff. The Bolts are playing hockey. In fact, they played hockey by a sum of 5-1 victory against the Krakens. Congratulations, Bolts. Big win there. Hagel goes 2 goals. So congratulations, Hagel. Have yourself a game, sir. Get yourself some. Still featuring the best goalie and, again, perhaps possibly the worst goalie at the same time on the same team. The Bolts are rocking a 16-10-2 record. Kraken are rocking a 15-15-2 record. They're sitting at 500. If 500 was ever more 500 than 500, it'd be the Kraken right now. I hope you guys were able to understand that reference. It made sense in my mind. But 4-1 over the last 5 games, 4th in the East right now. This is about where we expect the Bolts to be. I mean, you spend 5 years just at the top of hockey. At some point, you're going to take a step back. I'm glad it's just a step. All right. 16-10-2, not a record to be shy about, not a record to feel bad about. Congratulations, guys, on doing so well up until this point. Just need to bring it home. You have to finish out the season, make the playoffs, and then go from there. Keep it simple. Let's not overcomplicate things. Again, we have the roster to do it. We don't have the roster we had maybe 3-4 years ago, but we still have a really good roster, still have guys that are going to compete, still have the best goalie in the NHL, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens there as they move forward. They're going to go see the Blue Jackets. That's going to be Tuesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. Should be a good game. Hopefully the Bolts are going to be able to come out there with another victory. 5-1 was a massive victory. So hopefully they're going to be able to ride that momentum. And if they're able to ride that momentum, they should be able to continue to be strong the rest of the way through, barring injuries. That's where the Bolts are. Like I said, 4th, about where you would expect them to be. Like I said, when you sit atop the East for so long and have so many battles, with the Bruins and with New York and with obviously the Panthers too, defending Stanley Cup champions. This roster is going to be developed but tired, and so we're kind of seeing that a little bit. So just keep on going, boys. Just keep going, keep pushing. You guys will be all right. Panthers, no longer first in the East, guys. They have been dethroned. Unfortunately, they are 2-2 over their last 4, and that lack of consistency is part of the issue that they've been dealing with, including a recent loss here to the Flames, guys, and that was a 3-0, a shutout by the Flames. So congratulations on the Flames for shutting out the defending Stanley Cup champions. But Panthers, this isn't like you guys. You're 18-11 with 2 ties on the season. I don't know. You guys should have won that game. Flames rocking a 15-11-5 record. At least make it close. 3-2 puck game. Maybe that's different, but unfortunately, 3-0 just did not look good on you guys, and as a result, you guys moved out of first place, and you're now in second place. Still in a great position to make the playoffs and to make noise in the playoffs, but unfortunately, no consistency. There's been no consistency with the Panthers. And win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. They keep bouncing back and forth. They've got to get a model of consistency. They've got to get back better on the power play, which was how they destroyed the Bolts last year. And so that's just one of the things that we're seeing, that unfortunately they're just struggling to do what they've done over the last 2 years, which have made them successful and get them a Stanley Cup final. If they can return to transition defense and just making money on power plays, as well as better defense in the goalie area, they'll be all right. But unfortunately, playing like this, they're not going to make it too far in the playoffs. Panthers' next game is going to be against the Oilers. That's going to be tomorrow at 8:30 p.m., guys. So you guys are going to get that when you got it 7 o'clock. There's Monday Night Raw. Then 8:30 p.m., you're going to have some Panthers hockey if you guys are looking for that. The Oilers are rocking 18-10-2 record. So this team is one of the better teams there in the NHL over there in the West Side. And if the Panthers aren't careful, they will have dropped 2 in a row, and they will drop down to 2-3 over the last 5. And that would be 4-6 over the last 4-6 over the last 10. And I don't think they want to do that. So good luck, Panthers. You guys are going to have to get back the mojo and, find a way to find success again. If you guys can't do that, it's only going to get worse for you guys. A lot of love for that franchise. A lot of love for what they were able to do last year. But again, a model of consistency is what they're going to do in order to be successful, guys. Hey, listen, I really appreciate having you guys here on Palm Tree Sports Radio. Thank you so much for taking the time, on a Sunday evening to just listen to me rant about all things sports coming out of the Sunshine State. It's my pleasure to do so. Once we get closer to the ball game for the Gators, obviously I will have that information for you. Actually, I can say get closer after the ball game. We'll talk about what happened there and talk about how the Gators performed on December 20th. They'll be playing here in Tampa Bay, so super excited for that game. I can't wait to watch and see how our boys do. But in the meantime, between time, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. It's been a full moon, so I know it's a little crazy out there. Just be careful. Be careful on the road. Call your loved ones. Tell them you love them. It's the holiday season. If not now, then when, right? I'm a big advocate for family, as you guys can see with my dad in the comments, guys. So just absolutely amazing to have you guys here. And I look forward to having you guys here next week, same time, same place, Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next week's episode of Palm Tree Sports. My name has been Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. A couple more shout outs before we head out. Larry, Dad, you guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for being on here and just creating that dialogue with each other and with everybody else out there that's listening and wherever you may be at. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you guys and for everything that you guys do. I hope you guys have a very, very wonderful holiday season. I'm continue to say that through the rest of the year, guys, until we get to 2025. You guys have a blessed week, and I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Take care, and until next time.